Hi, everybody, and welcome to Global Education's virtual Study Abroad Expo. We are so happy and excited to have you joining us today in collaboration with one of our fantastic partners, the University of Birmingham. The University of Birmingham is a Russell Group university and it's ranked within the top 100 universities. And I have my lovely colleague, Joelle, who will be facilitating this presentation today. The University of Birmingham is our partner university in the UK. We are global education. We facilitate the entire application process from start until we get you enrolled in your studies overseas. So if you decide that Birmingham is the right institution for you, give us a call or send us an email and we'll be happy to help you through the entire process, where I or one of my colleagues will be communicating with Joelle directly regarding your application and to help you get you from A to Z of the application process. So I'm going to leave it up to Joelle now. Thank you, Joelle, for joining us. And if anybody has any questions, please put them in the question box and we'll refer to them at the end of this presentation.
Hi everyone, thank you very much for joining. My name's Joelle. I work for the University of Birmingham in the UK. So I'm going to be delivering this presentation for you. We will be sharing the recording after the session, I believe. That's one of the questions that's just popped up, yeah. The presentation will last sort of half an hour, 40 minutes perhaps, and then there'll be time for questions and answers at the end. My name's Joelle. I work in the international student recruitment team at the University of Birmingham. I'm based in Birmingham, and we are transitioning back onto campus at the moment as well. So I'm sort of hybrid from home and on campus at the moment working. I'm just gonna excuse my sort of share screen technical thing as that happens. Where are we with this? There we are. I believe you've got my screen shared now. Yeah, perfect. So that's my name, Joelle Maurice, and the University of Birmingham. So this presentation, here we are. I'm going to initially start by covering the city of Birmingham, just to get you a bit excited about the university and the city that it's located in. So here you can see an aerial shot of some of the centre of Birmingham. So it's a mix between old and new buildings, and it's quite a vibrant city to be in. There's all sorts going on, as hopefully you will see through these slides. So Birmingham is the UK's second largest city, so there's about 1.1 million people in Birmingham, and it's a very central location. So you can see from the map that it's quite centrally located in England in particular, but with good links to the rest of the UK as well. So it takes about 1 hour 30 to get to London, and 1 to 2 hours to get to Manchester, and 3 to 4 hours to get to somewhere like Edinburgh on the train. The university also has its own train station, which I'll point out a little bit later in the presentation, but that means that you can be between the university and the city centre very, very easily. Some exciting news coming up. In 2022, Birmingham, the city of Birmingham, will host the Commonwealth Games. So that's a very exciting opportunity for the city. It's going to be bringing together people from all around the world for sports and culture. And it's a really exciting venture, I think, sort of coming out of the pandemic, sort of showcasing what the city has on offer. And that means that over the next year or two, it's going to be a particularly exciting time to be in Birmingham because of all of the cultural and extra activities that will go alongside Birmingham hosting the games. The university itself will actually play host to some of the sports as well, which is an exciting collaboration for the university. So the city has a large and ever-growing number of young entrepreneurs and startup businesses. So it's a very innovative city. We were sort of the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution, and that sort of continues into today in terms of the sort of the startups and the entrepreneurship that you see in the city. And the university also drives innovation within the city, so it collaborates with businesses of all sizes in the region. Here are some sort of stats about Birmingham. It's a very diverse city, so around 30% of the population are from ethnic minorities. So that means that within the city there's all sorts going on in terms of cultural activities, but then there's a very diverse cuisine available on offer in the city. Birmingham is quite famous for its curries, because we've got quite a high portion of people from sort of the Punjab region. So there's a lot of Pakistani and Indian restaurants as well, so lots of curries available. We're also the youngest city in Europe, so around 40% of the population are under 25. So that means that there's all sorts of things going on for young people in the city. It's a very attractive city to be in for young people. We also have the largest financial and creative districts in the UK outside of London. And for example, HSBC has recently moved its UK headquarters from London to Birmingham. And we do find that around 48% of our students choose to stay on in Birmingham following graduation. So Birmingham's got everything that you would expect of a major city. So first-class arts venues, one of Europe's largest shopping developments, loads of restaurants and an exciting nightlife, clubs, bars, and then also a range of live music and theatre venues. We are host to international sporting venues, so we have football clubs, cricket grounds, and then obviously I've already mentioned the Commonwealth Games will be coming to Birmingham. We have obviously museums, gardens, galleries, historical houses, as well as temples, mosques, synagogues and churches. So basically everything that you might expect of a major city. Moving on now to the university. So you can see this photo that I'm displaying on the screen is an aerial shot of the university. Right in the centre, we've got Old Joe, which is one of the tallest freestanding clock towers around. It's a real icon of campus, and helps you sort of orientate yourself when you're on campus as well. And there's various superstitions around walking under Old Joe when it's chiming, and whether or not you will pass your degree based on that. As you can see from this photo, the university has a lot of beautiful red brick buildings, but as well as a lot of really nice green open spaces. So there is a lot of greenery on campus, including right at the centre, which you can sort of see to the left of the title, to the left of the number 2, you've got the Green Heart, which is sort of at the centre of the university, a fantastic green open space. In the background of this photo, you can see the city, the sort of the high-rise buildings of the city centre. So we're just a few miles out of the city centre. This image really showcases just where the university is in relation to the city centre. So it's about 3 miles, and it would take about 7 minutes by train to the city centre from the university's very own train station. So I can annotate this, I think. So we've got the train station is over here, and the train line there will take you directly into the city centre. You've also got the canal path, which you can see here. This is a canal, and that follows the same tree line, drawing all over this slide, into the city centre. And that actually is a pedestrian or sort of cycling route into the city centre as well. So you can get into the city centre by public transport very easily, but you can also get there on foot or by bike without having to go on any of the major roads as well. So you sort of get the best of both worlds in terms of a really beautiful campus setting, but then very, very easy access to the city centre as well. Here are some sort of highlight stats for you. So we teach over 36,000 students with over 10,000 international students from over 150 different countries. So we're quite a large university in terms of the UK, and that is reflected then in the diversity of the student body. We're ranked globally within the world top 100 and within the UK top 20. We're currently the most targeted university in the UK by top employers, so that means that top employers are wanting to speak to our graduates. And we have 11 alumni and staff recognised as Nobel Prize winners. We've got a beautiful 250-acre campus centred around our brand new Green Heart development. So that's what I spoke about in one of the earlier slides. So you can see that green space in the background of this slide. And we've been investing £1 billion in our campus over 10 years. So this covers a range of developments, so things like the Green Heart, but also some of the teaching facilities which are available for all students, as well as some subject-specific teaching facilities as well. So this is a slide that I like to show when I'm talking to students from Africa. We are home to many students from across Africa. So the biggest community is Nigeria, which is probably not a surprise to many of you. But we do have over 140 students from all sorts of other countries, including Zimbabwe and South Africa, as well as Mauritius, Zambia, Sudan, Ethiopia. We tend to find that the popular subjects for students from Africa are the ones on the screen, so things like law, computer science, engineering, business, and then some of that international relations. But students, you can come and you can study any subject. You're obviously not limited to those subject areas. So we are a campus university. With the campus is a 276-acre sort of green campus estate, and it is rated among the top 10 most beautiful campuses in the UK. As I previously mentioned, we do have our very own train station, but we've also got on campus an art gallery, a concert hall, some botanical gardens, and a geology museum, which includes our own dinosaur. And then we obviously have all of the academic facilities on campus, as well as a range of conveniences. So things like banks, shops, cafes, bars, there's even a hair salon, a bookstore. We have market stalls on campus, as well as a medical and dental practice. We've got a relatively recently opened library, along with the sports centre is also relatively new as well. And it's a very safe, secure and friendly environment on campus. I think the thing that's really nice about campus is it's an academic community. So whilst you're on campus, you've got everything you need. You've got no real reason to actually need to leave campus, and it's a very nice academic community. But then if you do want to go into the city centre, you've got very easy access to the city and around the region. Just another aerial shot of our campus. In the foreground, the building on the bottom right of this slide, that's some of our new sports facilities. And then obviously you've got the sports pitches in the foreground as well. I'll draw all over this one again as well. This building here, this sort of triple building that you can see, is the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. That is the largest teaching hospital in Europe. It's not owned by the university, but as you can see, it's very, very close to the university campus, and the medical building is actually this one here. So it's very, very close to the medical school. The library that I mentioned is this gold building here, right in the centre of campus, and next to that, there's some construction work in this photo, but that construction is actually completed now. That's a new sort of teaching and learning centre for all students to use. So hopefully you get an idea that it is a really beautiful campus and a lovely environment to be studying in. So moving on to studying at Birmingham. This gives you an overview of our colleges, schools and departments. So we have 5 colleges, 5 academic colleges. That's how the university is divided up. So we have the College of Arts and Law, which obviously has law, but then it has things like English, drama, history, language and cultures, as well as philosophy, theology and religion. We have the College of Engineering and Physical Sciences, which includes all of the engineering courses, as well as computer science, maths, physics. We have Life and Environmental Sciences, which includes the biosciences, as well as geography, earth, environmental sciences, and then things like psychology, sport, exercise and rehabilitation sciences. Medical and dental sciences, which includes both undergraduate and sort of more postgraduate specialised courses in medical and dental research areas. And then the social sciences, which includes the business school, as well as education, government and society, and social policy. We are a member of the Russell Group, so I'll just give you a brief overview of the Russell Group. The Russell Group represents 24 leading UK universities, and those universities are very research-focused universities. So the vast majority of the world-leading, internationally recognised research that comes out of the UK will come from Russell Group universities. So we provide outstanding teaching and learning experiences, unrivaled links with business, but also very, very strong research profiles. And if you are, it does feed into the curriculum. So it means that at a Russell Group university, you'll be being taught both at undergraduate and postgraduate level by people who are doing the research, and some of the sort of cutting edge new research will be built into the curriculum. So you'll sort of be studying the new things as they're being discovered. We were a founding member of the Russell Group, and yeah, sort of the group accounts for 65% of research income across the UK. This is just a snapshot of our Nobel Prize winners. 2017 was our most recent Nobel Prize, where astrophysicists from the University of Birmingham played a key role in the Nobel Prize for the discovery of gravitational waves. It's not something I understand, but I believe it has something to do with the theories of relativity and sort of finally proving what had been suspected for a long time. And yeah, I believe it involves sort of seeing how large celestial bodies might actually have an effect on gravity and gravitational waves through sort of space and the universe and things like that, and being able to actually measure that using, I believe, beams of light. So quite some interesting discoveries that have gone on over the years, with that one being our most recent one that we were involved in. So the university itself, how 81% of the university's research was rated as world leading or internationally excellent in terms of its originality, significance and rigour. That's in the research excellence framework that was conducted in 2014. So it's quite old now. That we are overdue a new research excellence framework. That is something that is taken on a national level, usually every 4 years or so, but there's been various delays with it taking place, and that's universities across the UK are invited to submit their research to that, so that then they're sort of ranked against each other in terms of how their research has impact and how internationally world leading excellent it is. So a little bit about sport on the university campus. We've covered some of the nitty-gritty research things, but now what do some of our students like to do for fun? So we are ranked in the top 5 universities for sport in the UK, and that is a sort of an inter-university championship that takes place across the year. We offer all sorts of different sports, from archery to windsurfing. And the photo in the background here is sort of the inside of the reception of our new sports centre. So you can see there's a climbing wall, but there's also state-of-the-art fitness suites. There's an Olympic-length swimming pool. We have squash courts, we have multi-purpose sports halls, tennis courts, football, hockey, rugby pitches. So there's around 55 sports clubs that you can get involved in, and sport is for everyone. It's for beginners all the way up to high-level competitors, and so you can just get involved for fun, play around with your friends, maybe a team that's just with your course mates, for example, all the way up to representing the university. And obviously there's fitness classes that take place at the sports centre as well. I've already mentioned we're going to be hosting the 2022 Commonwealth Games, and the university facilities are going to be used to host both the squash and the hockey at the Commonwealth Games. This slide gives you an idea of all of the sports that are available. So you can see we've got some of the more usual things that you would expect, such as tennis or football and cycling, as well as things like surfing and mountaineering, judo, trampolining, and ultimate frisbee. So there's all sorts that you can get involved with sports-wise. We also have the Guild of Students. So the Guild of Students is both a physical building on campus, which is available for students to use for social events. There's bar, restaurant, sort of social spaces in there for students, and there's also spaces available for students to rent out and use. And it's also home to sort of hosts the student societies and student groups. So there's all sorts available for you to join. There's things that are relevant to the courses. So for example, on the screen you can see BioSoc or PhysioSoc. So that would be the biology or physio or politics society. But then there's things like the Baking Society, the Purple Mermaid Society. I'm not even sure what that one is. So those ones are sort of more just fun. And then there's things that might be to do with your interests. So the United Nations Society. And then there's cultural ones as well. All sorts for you to get involved in. If it doesn't exist, then you are able to create the society as well. And I believe currently the current number is over 300 clubs and societies for students to get involved in. These are some of the ones that are related more to the African side of things, if you are interested in specifically interacting with perhaps other students from across Africa, but of course everyone is welcome to join any of the societies, so you're not limited to these, and these societies wouldn't only be limited to African students either. There are 7 full-time officers as well as 8 part-time officers, and these are student representatives. So we've got the postgraduate officer as well as the international officer that might be of particular interest to students coming from overseas. These are elected by students, and they serve either full-time, taking a year out of their studies, or part-time alongside their studies, representing the students. So we like to think that the University of Birmingham is a place that you can call home. So we facilitate multiple things throughout the year with that. So we have Welcome Week on arrival, and we encourage you as well. So the Welcome Week is it's a time for you to meet other students, get to know people, but also settle in, do a lot of the sort of the admin work, get registered with various things that you need to do. So with the university services, but also with things like a doctor and a dentist. I'll talk briefly, just because I've mentioned doctors and dentists, about that. So there is a doctor and a dentist on campus who you are free to register with, or you could register with other doctors or dentists as you see fit. As part of your visa application process to come to the UK, you will pay an immigration health surcharge, and that will be sort of all included in the visa fee. So with that immigration health surcharge, that then means that you are entitled to healthcare on the NHS, which is the National Health Service, on the same basis as UK nationals. So once you've registered with your doctor, then initial appointments with your doctor are free, and if you require inpatient treatment, for example in hospitals, or if you need to go to the accident and emergency department, A&E, those kinds of treatments are all free, covered. You don't need to pay anything. You are just it is just covered as part of the National Health Service. If you are prescribed medication by your doctor, then there will be a small charge for prescription medication. I think it's around £9 at the moment, and that is the same for regardless of what the medication is. So that is what you would pay when you pick up the medication from the pharmacy. So basically you would be paying for prescription medication. Is about the only thing that you pay for treatment wise through the NHS in terms of appointments and treatment. Dentist is a little bit different. It's sort of subsidised by the NHS but not fully covered, so you would be paying a fee for appointments and for treatments, but it's not the full fee because it's subsidised. So you are welcome to sign up with both of those on arrival. If you feel you need it, you can also obviously take out your private insurance as well, but generally speaking, a lot of the UK wouldn't have private medical insurance. They'd be seeking treatment through the National Health Service, the NHS. So just a little aside about healthcare in the UK. Hopefully that's useful to some of you. But aside from that, the university runs many social events through the student societies that I've already mentioned, and also in the accommodation villages for students to get involved in. We have a farmers market that usually comes to campus once or twice a month, and there's a lot of entertainment on campus throughout the year as well. So there's just a few examples at the bottom there. We've got Vale Fest at the end of term, which is a festival hosted at one of the campus accommodation venues. We have the University Prom. We have the Lakeside venue, which is open during Welcome Week. That the first year that we ran that was Welcome Week 2020. So that's sort of an external socialising venue. And one of the things that we ran this year as well for students was an event called Spring into Summer, which is where we opened up the campus with all sorts of activities in the Green Heart at the end of sort of springtime and into summer. And that was as the UK was beginning to open up a bit more, and we were inviting more students back onto campus. So that was a really nice social events available, making use of the beautiful campus that we have. This is just to sort of give you an overview, sort of a nod to the fact that we have been in a pandemic. So what are our plans for 2021, 2022 and beyond? We will be following UK government guidance, and currently all programmes are to be offered on campus, and the UK government is very supportive of offering in-person education. We are able to offer an online option for students who are unable to join us. This is for this current academic year, but currently the idea would be that the online option would be ending later this academic year, with in-person to sort of fully return from beyond this academic year. Obviously things change, so that may change for the future, but we have been able to be very flexible with the way that we've offered and responded to the COVID pandemic. But we're also hugely fortunate in that we've got a very spacious campus. So hopefully from the images I've shown you, you've got an idea that it is a really beautiful space, and there's lots of outdoor areas we've been able to make use of. And that has meant that we've been able to put on a lot of COVID-safe socialising activities and events throughout the year when permitted. So yeah, we will be following the UK government guidance, but currently things are opening up in the UK and returning to normal. And we hope that that would continue. I guess another thing that I should have mentioned when talking about the National Health Service, but now in relation to COVID pandemic, The vaccines have been rolled out in the UK, so the majority of adults will have received 1 to 2 doses of the vaccine so far. And the vaccine will be available to international students on the NHS. So if you've had 1 vaccine in your home country or 0 vaccines in your home country, you can then get 1 or 2 vaccines through the NHS in the UK. So that's what's currently happening with international students. A little bit about our accommodation. So we do guarantee accommodation for your first year of study with us. These are the guarantee covers a hall of residence with single study rooms. So that means you have your own study bedroom, but then you have perhaps a shared kitchen and social spaces, and maybe a shared bathroom, maybe an ensuite bathroom. The accommodation options available are either catered or self-catered, especially at undergraduate level is where the catered option is available. Catered means that you are able to, you get money topped up onto your swipe card, and you're able to use it across the university at your leisure to purchase meals. So you're not restricted to a particular venue or a particular time for that. All accommodation, even if it's catered, has access to a kitchen space, so you will always be able to cook meals for yourself, prepare your own meals. There is some private and sort of family accommodation available through the university. That is a limited amount, and it is not covered by the accommodation guarantee. Accommodation has a 24-hour hub and security, and we also have the accommodation office on campus. And the accommodation is available for both undergraduate and postgraduate students. We do have a lot of private accommodation available in the vicinity of the university as well. The university is located in sort of a residential suburb of the city, so there's lots of residential streets surrounding the university. So generally speaking, the university accommodation is around, the closest is around a 5 to 10 minute walk from the centre of campus, and the furthest away is around 20 to 30 minute walk from the centre of campus. And the same goes for private accommodation. There's a range from sort of 5 minutes from the centre all the way up to 20, 30 minutes away. The accommodation that you can see in the background of this photo is the Vale. Just at the bottom of the screen you can see the lake, so it's a really nice setting, that one. It's sort of a parkland setting of the accommodation with this centred around this beautiful lake, and you can see in the top so you've got Old Joe, so that's the university campus, and you've got the lake at the bottom here. So that's a really beautiful accommodation, and it takes you about 20 to 30 minutes to walk from that accommodation to the centre of campus. So depends where you are on that, because it's quite a large park that it covers. So these halls that you can see here are perhaps only a 15-minute walk from the centre of campus. This slide sort of covers the support services that we offer through the university. We have the international student team. That is a team that is different to my team. They cover students, international students, primarily when they're on campus, but they also offer the visa advice and guidance as well. So when you're looking to arrive, it'll be that team that you'll liaise with around visa guidance. We have the Guild of Students, which also offers a Global Buddies scheme, so they can pair you up with Global Buddies and support you with who've been through it all before. And then there's a range of other support services available on this slide. A couple that I'll pick out and mention. I've talked about Welcome Week briefly with you, and then the bottom bullet point is talking about the airport collection service. So we do offer an airport collection service for new arrivals from Heathrow or Birmingham, and that's a free service. Collect you from the airport if you arrive on certain days and book onto our the service. The other bullet point I'll pick out to talk about is the Careers Centre. So we do have a very large careers network. and they are available throughout your time studying with us. They're a fantastic service. They support students in their skills development, and they put on all sorts of workshops, so allowing students to recognise what skills they have, what skills employers are looking for. They have workshops helping students write their CVs, their resumes, and with interview skills and applications. They have databases of internships and jobs available, and they've also got an international focus as well. So that's sort of a two-pronged meaning to that. So they will help international students who are looking to stay on in the UK. So they'll be able to offer advice and guidance around that. But then they're also able to help any student who wants to work anywhere but the UK. So we've got a lot of global links as well. So that's a really fantastic service that I would fully recommend making use of when you arrive with us. A bit about fees and finance. I know that we get a lot of questions around this. So the fees for the courses are listed on individual course pages. So the fees are different depending on which course you're doing, and they're also stated in your offer letter. There may be a deposit required to accept your offer, and if that is the case, it will be stated in your offer letter. And the fees can be paid in full each year or in instalments from like a UK bank account. So there is a small charge for instalments, and though the instalments are either once a month or over 3 instalments. We do offer a range of scholarships, including awards through the university and through specific academic departments. So I'm just highlighting a few of them here, but there are more information. There's more information available on our web pages. So new for 2021 entry, the University of Birmingham offered some postgraduate scholarships, and this was for international students studying on eligible postgraduate taught programs, so masters from eligible countries. The programs that are covered by this are basically the majority of the university, excluding the business school, because the business school offers its own scholarships. So these scholarships were either a £3,000 automatic discount, and this was the Commonwealth Games scholarships, or a £10,000 competitive scholarship. So the automatic one means that if you meet the criteria, then you're automatically offered that discount, whereas the £10,000 one is it goes to a committee for a decision on who's going to be offered that scholarship. And there were also a handful of full scholarships available as well for athletes at postgraduate level. So those are, I think a lot of those are being rolled over for 2022 entry, so it's worth looking on our web pages. Some of the other scholarships, so Chevening and Commonwealth scholarships, these are scholarships that are not run by the University of Birmingham, but we do work in partnership with Chevening and Commonwealth. So these cover masters and some PhDs, and it's for eligible countries. It's worth noting that the deadline for these is relatively early on, so early November or December for these scholarships. So worth getting your application into them early. Otherwise, the university has some subject-specific awards. So the ones that are typically available are through the College of Arts and Law. There are some master's scholarships available there. And for undergraduate students, there are some scholarships for the LLB law programs. Birmingham Business School offers its own master's scholarships. The College of Engineering and Physical Sciences have some automatic scholarships available for undergraduate students. And then we do have one full scholarship available for an African student studying MSc International Development, the Mo Ibrahim course. So that's worth noting as well. In terms of applying, I would really recommend making sure you get in touch with one of our agents. So for example, Global Education, who are hosting this event today, because they will be able to help you with all of this. But this is just to give you an idea of the timeline. So the deadline for applications is usually around the beginning of June for postgraduate, and sort of towards the end of June for undergraduate programs. Medicine does have an earlier deadline, which is the 15th of October, and there will be some undergraduate courses open in July for, through clearing. So that's sort of, if there are spaces still available on courses, then they will be opened in July. We do have popular courses which close early. So for example, in 2021, our undergraduate business and law courses closed in January. So it can be beneficial getting an application in earlier. For undergraduate programs, the 15th of October is the medicine deadline, and then the earliest the undergraduate programs will close is the end of January, which is the UCAS deadline. So they won't close any earlier than the UCAS deadline for undergraduate programs. Postgraduate programs, the popular courses might close earlier as they fill up. I haven't spoken about our Dubai campus, but we do have a Dubai campus, if you are interested in studying with us in Dubai. And that's it's a fairly new venture, and with that, some of the courses that we offer in Dubai might close a bit later. So if we're closed on the UK campus, we may still have availability on some of our courses in Dubai. Worth also noting that the Dubai campus and the courses there are some very generous scholarships available, sort of up to 40% scholarships available. So it's worth considering looking at the Dubai campus. It's the same curriculum, the same lecturers. We have flying faculty that cover both campuses, but it's just it's based in Dubai, and it's a state-of-the-art campus that has is newly built, with the the new state-of-the-art campus opening just in a couple of months. Some of our postgraduate courses are subject to a gathered field application, so this is back to the UK campus. So for example, our Masters in the Business School and our Masters in Computer Science. So that means that there are rounds of applications, so you can apply during certain dates. So there's 3 or 4 rounds where you can apply. You would reply to your offer on the online portal for postgraduate courses, or through UCAS for the undergraduate courses. And usually you'll get a reply from us within 3 to 4 weeks of submitting an application, but it can be longer if you're applying for a postgraduate research course, which is a PhD. I've already mentioned we may require a deposit for the acceptance of your offer, particularly for master's programs. And then in order to meet the conditions of your offer, you'll usually have to submit all of your documents, including a passport, by the end of August, but the full details of that will be on your offer letter. We offer pre-departure events online and in country in July, August time, and then the Welcome Week events are confirmed in the summer. As I said, it's really worth submitting your application through Global Education, because they'll be able to help with all of these timelines and making sure that you've got all of the correct documents that we require. In general, we'll be looking to see your academic background, so things like your school certificates and if you've done a degree, your undergraduate certificates, as well as your personal statement, and then there's things like the passport which need to be uploaded as well, so they'll be able to help with all of that. So this is the entry requirements. So we do accept the South African matric, so we look for 5 subjects total, excluding life orientation. So the requirements vary by course, but it ranges from 5 6s up to 3 7s and 2 6s depending on the course. Otherwise, we accept A-levels, including the Zimbabwe A-levels, and IB. And again, the requirements vary by course. These ones are listed on the course pages, so you can see directly what we require. So ranges from ABB to A*AA, or the International Baccalaureate. Generally speaking, we look for 32 points overall, and then the differences would be at higher levels, so 655 at higher level up to 3 6s. If you don't meet these entry requirements, we do accept suitable foundation programs. So we offer our own on-campus foundation program if you don't meet these requirements, but do meet the foundation program requirements. Postgraduate level, we would be looking for holders of a good bachelor degree with honours from a recognised institution. So this means that we'll be looking for a minimum of a 2-1, so a second class upper, or 70% from a recognised institution. And it needs to be a degree with honours. We do, so ordinary degrees, so degrees that don't have honours, are not normally considered for entry onto master's programmes. So for students where this is the case, it's worth doing the 4-year course, so to get the degree with honours, or perhaps do a pre-master's or a master's in South Africa or Zimbabwe to be eligible. Sometimes we can consider relevant work experience in case of a degree with honours, but it's really dependent on the course and the individual tutor. Some programmes have subject-specific requirements, and some degrees, as I said, will accept relevant work experience. Our MSc, for example, our MSc in Advanced Mechanical Engineering requires a bachelor's in mechanical engineering or physics. All students need to prove their English language ability, so we accept IELTS, TOEFL, Pearson, but for students who are from English-speaking countries, generally we don't require an IELTS from you, as long as your previous qualifications are from an English-speaking country. So if you are, for example, a national of South Africa and you are applying to an undergraduate course, then we would accept your English from the matric as proof of your English language. If you are applying for a postgraduate course, then we would accept your undergraduate degree from South Africa as proof of your English language. So usually we'll find that students from your end of the world won't actually need to be taking an IELTS because they'll be able to meet the English language requirements through their previous qualifications. Briefly, I'll just cover the working in the UK during your studies. You are able to work during the UK up to 20 hours a week during term time or full time during the holiday periods. The UK has the minimum wage, this is per hour, so it depends on your age as to what minimum wage you would be earning, and you are able to work either on or off campus. Worth noting that you can't use this as proof of your funds to come to the UK. You do need to prove that you have the living expenses to come to the UK, but you are able to get part-time work while studying with us. And Birmingham is a large city, the university is a large university, so there's quite a reasonable amount of sort of casual work available both on and off campus. And then finally, something to bear in mind is the UK weather. We do have 4 seasons. We are moving into autumn at the moment, so days are typically 10 to 20 degrees C. In winter, it gets cooler, down to sort of 0 to 5 or 10 degrees. We do get some snow some years. We haven't had serious snowfall for a little while though. And then spring is sort of similar conditions to autumn. And then the summer can get up to 30 degrees, but that's slightly rarer. So it's worth sort of understanding that we get 4 beautiful seasons in the UK to mark your time with us. That's it from me. Thank you for listening. We hope to see you in Birmingham. I'll put my contact details up. Yeah, there we are. So if you want to get in touch, you can get in touch via africa@contacts.bham.ac.uk, or you can get in touch through Global Education as well. We'll be able to assist you with any queries you might have. So now I'm going to see if anyone's got any questions. If anyone wants to ask anything, I'm happy to answer any queries.
Thanks, Joelle. That was so informative. I'm so excited at how broad the opportunities are at Birmingham. I'm just going to share my screen. Now, there we go. I mean, some of the things that stood out to me were there's a Gaelic football team, like, you know, you're reaching out to all different types of students here at Disney Society. I mean, how exciting is that? Among the notable alumni and research and degree accreditations, it's amazing how broad the experience is at Birmingham. So I have a few questions for you, actually.
Yeah.
You know, when we send students to universities, we are prepping them for life post-university. So are there any post-study setups or internships, sandwich years, anything like that that Birmingham assists students with post their degree?
So I mentioned the careers network, and the careers network is able to assist students with applying for jobs, so that would be post degree, but also getting the experience during the degree through sort of internships and work experience, and workshops. They also invite employers onto campus, and so there are all sorts of networking opportunities available for students. What's also notable is that the Careers Network is sort of the central service available for all students across the university. But I mentioned that the university is divided into 5 academic colleges. And so within each of the academic colleges, there is support that is specific to the subjects covered by that college. So, for example, the law school has a number of events that are specific to law students. They invite top law firms onto campus, and they have networking opportunities specifically for law students. The other thing to note is the graduate route visa that has come into play in the UK, which allows stay back in the UK for a couple of years post-degree. So once you've finished your degree, you can apply to then stay on in the UK, and you would then have full access to the UK job market. So this is a new visa that has just, the very first students, I think, are making use of the student visa now as we speak. And there's sort of minimal restrictions over what you can and can't do. So you can be involved in quite casual work until you find something more serious. The other thing to note is that some of our undergraduate programs in particular have internships or the opportunities of sandwich years. So those are particularly programs in the business school and the engineering school. Some of those programs are, so typically degrees are 3 years in length, but some of those programs will be 4 years because they've got a year in industry. And there is always the option to do a year abroad as well, regardless of what degree program you're doing.
Okay, great, thank you. And then I see there's a question here from a student. Student is asking, if a student joins the debate team, will they qualify for a scholarship? And the follow-on to that question is a student with a UK law degree able to write the New York bar exam?
So I'm assuming that by the debate team, you mean one sort of currently at school or something like that. It's not the case then that you would be sort of qualified automatically for a scholarship based on previous academic extracurricular activities. Generally speaking, the scholarships are available based on academics or through the departments or something like that. So there aren't, and automatic scholarships are offered usually based on academics, where they are available. The second part of the question was law degree, yes. Is a student with a UK law degree able to write the New York bar exam? I believe you would need to double check this, but from my understanding, students that are educated with law in the UK but then want to be a lawyer in the States, in the USA, for example, it's similar to if you qualify out of state. So there are various exams that you would need to take to equate your degree to be like sort of equivalent to the New York one. And then I believe you then would be able to take the New York bar exam, but there might be an equivalency that you need to do just to make sure it's covered first.
Yes.
It's not something that is my full area of expertise, that one. But something
I think it's likely that you would need to write something called an LSAT, which is kind of the law qualifying exam. From my understanding, the UK equivalent would either be the PGDL, the postgraduate diploma in law, or the SQE examinations. So because it's an entirely different law system, you would have to do a sort of qualifying exam before you could then apply for law school there and then do the bar exam. So law in the States is very different to how law is structured in the UK. Luckily for us, law is very similar structurally in the UK as it is in South Africa. But if you are interested in law in the States, give us a call or send us an email. We can go through that process with you as well. Great. Joelle, I have another question for you. I noted with the 5 different faculties, some subjects that stood out to me. Let me just share my screen. There we go. Some subjects that stood out to me were metallurgy and materials, immunology and immunotherapy, and inflammation and aging within, I think it was both the engineering and the medical faculty. It's so nice to hear of or see different types of courses, because I think sometimes students can get caught up in the very common medicine, business, accounting, engineering. Are there any courses or subjects that you find notable or interesting that can sometimes be overlooked?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, we do offer a real range of subjects. I think one subject that is perhaps less talked about in the UK, because we focus so specifically on like specific subject areas, would be that we do offer a course in liberal arts and natural sciences at undergraduate level, and so that allows you to pick and choose from across the university, and really sort of if you come in with a broad range of skills and broad interests, then that subject is quite interesting to sort of continue with a range of subject areas. And we find that students on that degree perhaps have very specific goals in mind. So perhaps they might want to be tackling the climate crisis, and so then they might take something in engineering, but also in global politics and international relations, and all of those subjects are sort of related to tackling the climate crisis, for example. I think, yeah, at postgraduate level, particularly in the medical school, there is a huge range of specializations available there to students, which is really nice to see. I think I would encourage, I like to encourage students to look at, if they've got a sort of an area of interest, to look at that specific area of interest, but then also sort of take a step back and look at what else the college offers, because it might be that there's a very sort of similar degree that covers different areas or has a different stream. So some of the law degrees that at postgraduate level, there's like 3 or 4 streams that will cover like international law or commercial law or something like that.
Yeah, lots of options. I suppose it's just encouraging students to be open to the fact that there are so many options and opportunities available to them. Just another question in terms of the delivery method. So you touched on how online is still available to students at the moment because of, you know, some obvious travel restrictions in different countries, and hopefully we will have students studying on campus more and sooner, especially with the vaccine rollout that's happening. In terms of those students who do have to start online though, because we do also have a quarantine period for South African students, what is it like for students who have been studying online? I think students are a little bit nervous about the idea of, you know, missing out on that first start experience with other students. But if you could share a little bit on that, just to ease the concerns.
So we actually spoke to a lot of our students in the summer and talked with them about their experiences of the pandemic, among other things. But what was really nice talking to the students was actually how positive they were about their experiences studying at Birmingham during the pandemic. So There were difficulties, and the students were obviously recognised that it's not the same as being in person, and in terms of the social side of things, it does sort of lack somewhat because you're not in person. But what stood out was that there were a lot of social activities that were being organised through the academic courses for students to get to know their course mates virtually, through the university, through the sort of the Guild of Students and the students' unions. So the university has made a big effort to make sure that even though the social side of things is not as we would like, that students are able to meet and socialise and get as much as a sort of a university experience as possible. But with regards to online learning, what was actually interesting was a student said that in some instances they actually preferred some of the online learning because it allowed them to revisit things if they wanted to, because a lot of the lectures are then recorded where they wouldn't have previously or might not have previously been recorded. So it allows them to go back over and really make sure they understand things and discover new things and new ways of learning about themselves. And so that was nice to hear that there was sort of some really sort of positive outlooks and positive outcomes. We do offer the lectures are sort of large, what would be traditionally be in a large lecture hall, and those are sort of PowerPoint presentation or sort of talking over, and then those are often sort of recorded so students can go back and revisit the material. But then the smaller sessions are offered also virtually, but those are things where they are much more interactive and you are able to sort of talk with other students and with the academic staff members. There were some interesting ways of overcoming when students were allowed back onto campus, but sort of in sort of smaller numbers. There were some interesting ways of dealing with that in various faculties. So I believe one of the departments, they sort of had one student physically in the lab, but then accompanied virtually by their colleagues, their student colleagues, who were helping them with like taking notes and sort of various sort of visually assisting from afar, and they managed to change the way that they were offering the course to suit the virtual environment, or sort of a hybrid environment, and I think that they got a really good engagement from that as well.
That's fantastic feedback, really.
But
nice
yeah,
to see how, education becoming virtual across the board. It's nice to hear that reassuring feedback. Yeah,
and I mean, generally the hope is that we will be back full-time on campus as soon as possible, and I think the UK government is also pushing for that. But we do need to be responsive to restrictions, and if other countries are sort of still have restrictions in place, then that guides the university and the UK policy as well.
Yeah, definitely. Great. Those are all of my questions and all of the students' questions as well, I see. I think we've given them all the information that they need, but hopefully, team, guys, if you have any other questions, just pop us an email here at info@global-education.co.za or give us a call, and we'll be in touch, and we'll also be liaising with Joel regarding your applications. So Joel, thank you so much for taking time out today to speak to us and to tell us more about this prestigious university. And yeah, really looking forward to doing this again sometime soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, do get in touch with either myself or Global Education if you've got further questions.
Great. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Oh, wait. We have one more question. Oh, there you go. Thank you for the insights. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.